Hi, welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He is my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Tonight, we're reviewing Married at First Sight. It's close to decision day. It is very close to decision day. And what are the couples going to do?
Like a few days.
Like a few days, right? A few days to decision day. What are the couples going to do? We're going to take a look at all the couples today. And
we always do.
We always do, but I'm saying, look at the couples today and what they mean and what decision day means to them and how close decision day and what they may do on decision day. So who you want to get started with?
Let's see. You want to do... It wasn't really a whole lot with Olajuwon and Katina.
Let's go with Olajuwon and Katina.
Olajuwon.
Olajuwon. And K.
Okay. So, he basically says his decision is still up in the air.
It's that stupid of me. He keeps saying he likes her. She's the best thing that ever happened to him. He's appreciated. She's a great woman. But you can't make a decision. So
he sits and talks to Coach Mack again, which is his mentor, his former coach. Yeah. We've seen him talk to Coach Mack a few times. And so he expresses to him what's got him up in the air. You know, I went to school, I started my career, you know, so that I could travel later. And she's got 3 to 5 years left of school. She's getting her associates. Then she wants to get her bachelor's in nursing. Mm-hmm. She wants to pursue nursing, but she wants to be married and have kids. And he was like, you know, how is this going to happen? Like, how can I travel and how can she travel with me? Or how can we do travel, you know, as a wife of you in school? And he was like, I'm over school. He was like, I'm not just over school for me. I'm over school for anybody. Like, I'm over school. I don't want to hear nothing about school. I don't want to go to school. I don't want nothing. So that's what it is.
But he's so selfish. It is so selfish. You got yourself together. You got your stuff straight. You graduated school. You finished. She made it ended late. And now she wants to make a career change because the job she has is not a bad job. So she wants to make a career change, and you're so selfish with it, right? It's all about Elijah. I want to travel. He act like he has that much time off his job, right?
Maybe he does.
Maybe, again, no, because when he talks to Lindsay later, he talks about, you know, we got to be able to get on the same time frame. She has to adjust to my time. Well, maybe you have to adjust around her school schedule and travel. No, mean you can't travel. Even you can travel pregnant. It doesn't stop you from traveling pregnant. School is online. If she's a good student, she'll do her work ahead of time. Mm. So it's not like it can't be managed and balanced. And that's my problem with Coach Mack. Like, Coach Mack, you should have enough sense to tell Elijah on this. Mm. He didn't say none of this stuff to Elijah on. He kind of agreed, like, yeah, you know, you have to go where your heart goes or something like that, he said. I'm sitting here like, give the dude some sound advice. Because the advice that Coach Mack gave him, to me, wasn't sound advice at all. For this part, for Elijah one. Like, look, tell Elijah one, it can be done. Are you willing to work with her? You're her husband, and she's not doing it all by herself. Be supportive. If she gets pregnant, guess what? You're going to be there. Don't expect her to cook dinner, go to school, do all this, and you do nothing but say, hey, I work today, Katina. You know, let's go to the beach.
Right,
Come on, dog. It's selfishness.
Well, but Elijah said the other thing is, too, like, I just went through this with my ex, her doing school while we're trying to have a relationship, and so he's like, I'm over it. And so what Coach Mack basically was like, it doesn't sound like y'all on the same page, you know, and for y'all, the question should be, is she the one? That's what you're going to have to decide. But is she the one to the point where I can, you know, bear with what she's going through? You know, does she mean enough to me that I can make a sacrifice or decide, okay, I'm gonna go walk this walk out with her?
But again,
I agree. He could have been more forthright. You know,
yes.
I agree.
But again, she's not the one that you just broke up with.
Right.
She's Katina.
Right.
She's able to handle and maneuver. In her mind, she can handle and maneuver all that's going on. She's not. So don't compare her to your ex. Mm-hmm. That's one big mistake. You compare and you put her in a box with the person that you're not with. Don't do that in relationships. Second thing is, he has to understand that it's not. Again, she's not doing this by herself.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in school before she met you.
Right. So she's not going to stop school.
I'm not going to stop school because I married you. I was in school when I met you 2 months ago. And so I'm going to continue the process. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to finish what I started. Come on, bruh.
And so basically what he said last time and this time too is that, you know, I think she should choose her. So if I disagree with her doing married life and children and growing a career and going to school, then she should go do her. Since she not going to stop school because I said so or because I feel like it's going to be too hard.
That's the stupidest thing. I'm going to break up with you because you want to go to school. I want to stop being married to you because you want to further your education. I want to divorce you because you want to do better in life. That will help us eventually to travel more. He doesn't know if she gets the nursing degree and she finished that off and get a job in nursing that she may, depends on what type of nurse she is. She can work 3 days a week and the other 2 days you can have a long vacation weekend. I mean, he can't wait to see the process out if he loves this girl. Follow through the process. It's so selfish to me. He's not
he says it later. I don't want to jump ahead, but he says it later. When it comes to the decision, be selfish. Do what's right for Katina, and I'm gonna do what's right for Elijah.
But that's not where this process or this how this works.
Oh, I don't
You're not doing this for yourself because you're married. You're doing this because you really want to genuinely be with this person for the rest of your life. It's not a selfish thing. It's like I'm doing it for me, but I'm doing it for us because I love you. It goes in my whole rant later on when we talk about because we would know the answer before we did decision day. I'm sorry, I wouldn't play the game.
I'm not doing that.
I would know either yes or no before we even went to decision day. So it would.
I don't want to go into my rant now.
Nah, we take. I'm sorry for jumping ahead, but go in there.
Because let's brought it up. I really want to.
Let's move on.
But anyway, so we didn't see Katina talk to anybody. But we also saw Katina talk to. Elijah want to talk to Lindsay. Right. We can talk about that a little later. Or we can touch on it now. But they have a little conversation.
Let's touch on it now.
Yeah, and this is proof that we know from After Party and from some of the scenes on the show that Olajuwon and Lindsay, they obviously have let bygones be bygones, and they be chatting it up and hanging out and talking. And so we see them like out at the park talking, and you know it's like, okay, where are you at now? And you know she says Mark has stepped up a lot lately. You know, she said in them having a conversation, it's just always good to see Olajuwon. You know, and sit and chat with him. We're very similar in our approach and our directness.
Would have been some of my kids I'd have hung out with. We was kids. We would have hung out with each other. We would have asked Olajuwon out.
And been bad. They was bad.
She would have asked Olajuwon out. She likes Olajuwon.
But yeah, she says as far as Mark, you know, he stepped it up lately. You know, there's more pros than cons. You know, she said they match on faith and he's a good person and they're teams and she trusts his advice. And what bothers her is that he talks to other people about their problems as opposed to talking to her. And Elijah was like, because he has to figure out what he's going to say to you first.
He has to have
because he don't want it to be more of a blow up because you know you be blowing up.
Yeah, he has to have every I dotted, every T crossed, every word has to be correctly pronunciated, every word has to be correctly used correctly in the sentence because you're going to misread everything. You're going to blow
you're going to correct him in the middle of his sentences.
Correct him and blow his spot up.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And Mark seems like the guy he can't handle it because he wants to please somebody all the time. I have someone that corrects me when I mess up words. I don't mind her correcting me when I mess up words. Just don't do it in public. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Anyway, and so Olajuwon says, you know, the cons that he sees with Katina is, here we go, he's going back to this, is life experience, that she needs to cook and stuff, and Lindsay's like, oh, she can't cook. He says she's learning to cook. She's learning. And she was like, so you want her to work and then work some more, like work her regular job and then work at home some more? And he was like, she works from home. And she was like, I work from home too. Lindsay says this. Here's some more info on Lindsay. I work from home too. And Elijah was like, You don't work from home like her. Like, she don't do nothing.
She don't
I've watched her. She don't do nothing.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, dog, you put
She
her
be real chill. I was like, dang.
I was like, yo, you putting out on Front Street about her job. I noticed years afterwards.
Maybe it was chill when it was in the office, too.
Maybe it was chill. Maybe it was a pandemic that made it chill. Again, maybe she makes it look easy. And it is a lot of work, but she's meticulous in that it makes it look easy.
He said he's not there to be a teacher. And he says, you know, his thing is, am I willing to travel without her? Am I willing not to travel because she can't? Yes, you should not travel because your wife can't. Or it may be some things that you could do without her.
I disagree on that one part.
No, I was going to say it may be some things you could do without her, but I don't think you should be traveling all the time without your wife.
No, you should be traveling all the time without. I mean, there might be a trip or two that you take with your boys, a trip or two you may take with yourself, and then a trip or two that you take with your wife. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes, you have to be able to balance that and understand that there is a balance in your relationship and that she has to finish her goals. That again, you finished yours, you achieved your goals because you let everyone know you achieved your goals. Let her achieve her goal. Mm-hmm. Let her achieve hers, and you be the supportive husband and the guy who lift her up to help her reach her goals. Come on, man.
Yeah, Lindsay says in this, you're just going to have to decide what's more important to you, having a wife or traveling.
Lindsay makes sense sometimes. When she
makes sense a lot of times. She's just rough and gruff.
She's rough around the edges.
Yeah. So anyway, Olajuwon and Lindsay had their conversation. So later we see Olajuwon and Katina. Mm-hmm. They go out to dinner. This is their one last date, you know, before decision day. And he says, you know, this one last date is important. You know, of course, you want to leave on a good note. The one thing I laughed about is, you know, they scan the room and they got a bottle in there that says Married at First Sight champagne. I was like,
you gotta put the sticker label on there. They gotta advertise their own stuff.
Really?
Maybe they're selling champagne later on. That's something they want to put in the company.
Yeah, okay.
Shop.
So you talk about how the fact that, you know, time went slow at first, but in the last few weeks it seems like it's been going fast. But you know, time goes how it goes. So it's like, are there any lingering questions you have? She was like, I don't really have none. You know, it's just our timing regarding, you know, the future. That's the one question. Is like, what's going to happen when? You know, how I can handle this and how you think I can handle it. If I didn't think I could handle it, I wouldn't be pursuing these goals. You know, I can do this. And basically, like, I want you to have faith that I can do it. You know, it's possible.
Yeah, don't foreshadow. I mean, I think he's in the foreshadowing mode. I think sometimes when you foreshadow certain situations, especially when it comes to kids, that messes up your relationship. Yeah. Because you never know when it's going to happen, or foreshadowing where I want to be in this life. There's nothing wrong with making a plan if both of y'all agree to the plan. Right now, they're both don't agree to the plan. It's Olajuwon's plan that he wants Katina to follow.
Yeah.
It's not the plan they did together.
And that's what he said. He said he doesn't really have any lingering questions. It's just that he really hopes that she can balance school and everything else. And like I said, she said before, I wouldn't do this if I didn't think I was capable of doing it. So she said, you know, being a wife is important to her. And he's like, how so? I'm like, Dad. She's like, because I want to have a family. I want to have a partnership. It's being a wife. And he was like, but so you can't do that not being married. And she was like, I mean, you can, but eventually the goal is to go to marriage.
I didn't like the phone question.
It's like playing devil's advocate.
But yeah, I didn't like the questioning because he was questioning her like he didn't know the answer to these.
Well, no, he was questioning her like
he was interrogating.
Like, I'm about to say no, and are you saying that means we can't be in a partnership or be together?
No, when I say no? It's like what he did at the beginning when they first met. He was challenging her, testing her, whatever word he used.
Grilling her
to see what's going on. And again, he went back to testing her and grilling her here at the end to see what she was going to do. If you've been there 8 weeks, you already know her answer to this. You already know how she feels. If you've been in tune, you already know how she feels about you. That's why, don't be grilling. No, I just didn't like the form of questioning. The grilling and the form of questioning that he was doing at their last dinner to me was like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
You know this. Not that it was disrespectful, but like you asking questions that you know the answer to. You just want to hear her say it at this point.
Yeah. She was saying
for your own self confidence.
Yeah, this is different from any relationship she's been in before, and you know he was like, yeah, it should be, you know, or she's like, I've never been in a marriage before like this. And he was like, I hope not. Stuff like that. He was just saying. Anyway, she was like, she has strong feelings for him. You know, it's like a natural connection. They get along. She's understanding his tough love now that he gives, but they laugh together. He agrees, yeah, we do laugh together. This is the most I ever laughed for somebody. And, you know, he said, I really enjoy you. You know, you've caused me to learn about myself. And I feel like I've gone from a boy to a man. And that couldn't have happened without you. You know, I appreciate you, whatever. And I was like, okay.
I put Isaac away. Man. But, he means, I keep saying he means well, but he just comes off real, like he needs her to stroke his ego.
Or something.
Yeah, he needs the pat on the back, the affirmation, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you need it over and over again, that's a problem. So
last thing we see with them, we see them parting ways. Katina's packing her bag. He's joking about, do you need help packing your bag? Got stuff all over the place. And, you know, she was like, basically, how are you going to be at home with just your thoughts to yourself? And he was like, it gives me space and time to really weigh my decision over the last day. And she's like, you know, think about it, but like, don't get in your head too much. But he says to her, you know, when you make a decision, be selfish about it. Think about Katina. You know, I
want to add to that. She did say that at the dinner. This one point she said, maybe you made me remember. She did say, I feel I can do all this. Mm-hmm. She told him I can do all this. So I said that, yeah. Yeah, but again, when she told her to be selfish, she's already told you, I'm going to be selfish. I can do all this, but I want you in my life.
Right.
You know, I can do all this, but I want you with me. So you don't have to tell her again to be selfish, because she already told you that she's doing what she's going to do for her, but it's also for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She says, you know, she'd be sad if she got divorced. She said in her vignette, you know, and they talked about it too. He was like, I'm not saying I wouldn't be sad. It might, you know, I'd be bothered, but I deal with it. But I can't say how we'll feel in that moment. But again, you know, it's like, you should do what's best for you, because I'm going to do what's best for Olajuwon. You know, be selfish, you know. And I'm just like, I don't know. So I have to park right here. Because we had the conversation, particularly when they talked about it.
Yes.
There's no way, hear me, there's no way that I'm going into decision day and I don't know what he's saying. Because on that couch, I promise you, I blow the spot up. I told him, I was like, now Ninja, you not getting ready to embarrass me on TV? Before we sit on this couch, tell me what you finna say. I'm gonna be mad now and I'm gonna be mad then. But what I'm not gonna be is embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't have me on this couch. Now Ninja, now you know. My husband was like, you would say that? Yes, I would say that. Y'all stop. I'm not going into decision day. You're not going to throw me for no loop. It's just not going. We should have talked about this. All of these couples are talking about they don't know. They on the fence. I don't know what I'm going to say. Before, okay. But on this last day, before you go to sleep somewhere else, and you will call me on the phone. We're going to talk about something. You know, I thought about it all night, and I feel like I'm going to say no. Good. Thank you for preparing me.
No, I don't need you to feel like you say no. I need a definitive answer.
No, I'm just saying, but thank you for preparing me, because had we went out on this couch and they asked me first and I say yes, and then you say no, them is fighting words.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
We're going to have some yes and some no's. So
I'm just saying.
We're going to have somebody say yes and somebody say no.
I'm just saying.
But
we're going to talk about this beforehand. You're not going to throw me for no loop. But anyway.
Yeah, I need to know.
So their conversation made us go into that conversation. I was like, no, I can't beat Keith and Iris. You're not going to embarrass me. Because she was really thinking he was going to say yes. And
no, not even Keith and Iris. I'm going to tell you, Will and
Jasmine. Will and Jasmine. Daggone Kate and
Luke.
Kate and Luke. Luke tried to ask. I was like, bro, you are not surprised. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. And he was like, Oh, I guess I'm going to say no to that. You was going to say yes?
Like for what? You said she repulses you.
That's a whole no. Yep, you're not going to embarrass me. It's not going to happen. Well, anyway, let's go on. Jasmine and Michael. Jasmina and Michael. Again, you're not going to embarrass me.
Yeah, they need help.
Let's figure out. So, we see him in the car talking to his little, diary cam.
He just wants to finish working out.
Yeah, he was wet.
Like he was sweating. Like
he was wet. Don't do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's wet.
That's Bible.
Yeah, it is. But he was soaking wet. And I was like, good gosh, Michael, what in the world? But in the car, he was saying, I feel like I'm with a friend right now. And that's not what I signed up for. That's the same thing he talked to with his sisters. That's the same thing he talked to with Jasmina. Because they are in a good place. But it's like, is it too little, too late? And like at this point, like you had decision one day till decision day. I don't know where the freak these romantic feelings gonna come from in no day.
In a day.
It's not, and that's what she's saying that she felt like she needed. But anyway, we see him go talk to his sisters. He said this is the first time I've had a chance to talk to all of my sisters. Since the beginning. Right. Since I told them that I got chosen to be on Married at First Sight. And one of his sisters had a baby since then. But we know he's been talking to his sister Claire the whole time. But he gets to talk to all of them. And they had a nice little spread. I was like, oh, my husband would love this. That big bowl of mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. That little bit.
And it looked like red potato mashed potatoes.
I know. When you say mashed potatoes, there's no instant potatoes. This is like some real, you peel these bad boy mashed potatoes. I eat instant potatoes, but I love some real mashed potatoes. But anyway, that's a whole different.
Does. With milk and sour cream and chives and body of seasoning, pepper. Yeah.
And I make those myself, y'all. I just want to throw that out there.
That's his thing. And it's good.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. He always makes too much, but it's good.
Unlike Elijah when I can cook. Go ahead.
He can. I can too.
Well, yeah, I'm not. But we
didn't say that you said. No.
I didn't say you couldn't cook.
I didn't say that you said that. I'm saying we both could cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so they were like, okay, what have you been stressing about? Tina asked him, and he was like, I've been talking to Claire, so I think you're pretty up on it, what's going on. And, Claire says, yeah, we talked about it. It seemed like y'all was on different pages. Y'all didn't really want the same thing. And he was like, I think we're in a good place right now. We're on the same page now. And she's like, oh, that's good. He was like, only thing is, we're in a good space. We get along. We like each other. But I didn't come for a friend. And it's really feeling like a friend right now. And we got a short time to decision day. And it's like, what do I do? What do I do at this point? And so the other sister, I can't remember her name, with the colored locks. She says, is the progress that you've made up to this point not enough that you trust to move forward?
Right.
He was like, I don't know. I don't know if we made enough progress to this point that I can say going forward it's just going to build some more. Because he basically was like, I feel like we're in the friend zone.
Yeah, but that's my thing too though. If you're in the friend, and we had that discussion too, we stopped it. If you're to the point where at these 8 weeks, because they blew 4 weeks. 4 weeks was blown, right? So really y'all are in a relationship for 4 weeks, because the first 4 weeks don't even count. Are we at the point where we're willing to give this a shot after decision day? That's what I'm thinking you're working towards. Not that I feel butterflies in my stomach, that I feel sparks. Am I willing to give this marriage a shot past decision day? That's how I would look at it. If I was on the show, I was looking at it, can I give this a thing after decision day? When the whole loves may not be there, we may not have had sex, but do I want to spend more time with this person as husband and wife after decision day? And that's how I decide my answer. I think with Jasmine and Michael, that's the way they have to look at it, since they blew the first 4 weeks.
His sister Claire said, basically, you need to make a decision to protect Mike.
Yeah.
And at this point, you have to decide what you can compromise, and is it worth it to hope that we'll get to that point. And he was like, see, that's the missing link that's important. Can we get there? Do I have hope that we'll get there? I don't know.
And he has to learn that he has to know that it can grow to that. And he may not want to get there. He may want to be, you know what, I want my marriage to be like XYZ's. But everybody's different. Mm-hmm. Everybody's different. She is a slow roller. Maybe the cameras go away. Y'all spend time with no cameras, no production. She'll start feeling that romance. Never know. And again, I don't believe so. I think she just doesn't like bruh anyway. I think she wanted to put him in the friend zone from get-go, and she's just going through the process. I think she cares about him, that she likes him. She does not like him romantically. And she said that kind of. I'm friends with him.
Yeah.
He ain't rub on her booty yet.
And so we see that come out when she has her conversation with her friend Miles on a video call. And, Miles like, how's it been going? She says it's been going well. We feel more connected. She was like, but this feeling still haven't come. And it's like, okay, what's holding her back? I feel that there are moments of deep connection, but there aren't any moments where I looked at him differently. In those moments, it hasn't made me look at him differently. I feel more connected, deeply connected, but I haven't looked at him different. Like, I could do Ham's ugly. I could do Ham's ugly.
Again, she has in certain moments, but it's not every day. She wants every day romance, and every day may not be that romance.
No, it don't have to be romance, but in the beginning of this, she should feel like to say, I'm married at first sight and I want to stay in this. It should be sometimes where she be like sitting there like, I wonder what Michael's doing. I can't wait for him to come home.
But is that romance, or that's just they care about concern?
No, I'm in like a romantic way, like.
But she stopped it, though. She's the one that pulled way back, even though he told her to stop kissing. She was doing that. And I totally agree with Pastor Cal. If they had never stopped that romance might have been there. Because today it was a peck, tomorrow's 2 pecks, next day is 3 pecks, next thing is he's got his tongue down your throat. It is a progression. It's a progression, and she should have stopped. Should never stopped the progression.
Her friend Miles says, "Well, have you made efforts to, bring the romance in?" And she was like, "Yeah, he sits next to me. He reached for my hand. He gives me kisses on it. He gives me kisses on the cheek. He's trying something. Because remember, he was scared. He was scared to do anything before. Right. Because he didn't think that she would take it.
But we keep saying him. Why hasn't she tried anything?
Because she hasn't tried nothing. Because I don't feel like that about him.
But you need to know, though. You need to see.
And that's what her friend Miles said. You
should have took Miles to tell her that. I'm just saying. Even though she's 28, you should have took Miles to say that. If you don't feel romance towards somebody, you should try to see if there's. I'm not telling you to go have sex with them. I'm not telling you to have intercourse. But I'm telling you to, to play around, feel around, love, flirt, do all this other stuff to see if the feelings were. It's just like a car battery. You might need something to jumpstart that bad boy, and to see if it can kick in.
So that's what Miles said. He was like, if he were more outward with his feelings, would that change your mindset? And she was like, yeah, but I think he's in his head about it and purposely doesn't talk to me about his, about that and do more than he could because he doesn't want to make me feel uncomfortable.
Well, then you show him that you're not uncomfortable by bringing the conversation up.
Or how about you just love on him?
Love on him. You kiss him on his neck. You rub on his body. Try something.
Try something.
Again, she is not into him. She doesn't want to be romantically involved. If a woman wants to be romantically involved with a guy, she'll try something. And he'll try. Same vice versa. He'll try something. But again, to break a wall down from a guy, if a woman tries something, it will ease his mind if he's hesitant about shooting a shot.
Mm-hmm. So the question was, is it worth pulling out all the stops now? And, tell him to open up emotionally. She says, she's considered that now. Based on that conversation, Miles was like, you just thought about that now? Based on what?
Because you don't like him. You would have thought about that before if you really liked him. You would have took the advice of Dr. Viviana if you really liked him when you could have wrote in the journal. She doesn't like dude. And he going to say yes, and his heart going to be broken because she going to say no.
I don't think it is. Based on the conversation that they had at the end with the, when they were playing flag football. But anyway, she said if it's no feelings, if she's not feeling anything about decision day, it'll be a no. Joker, decision day is like a couple days away. It's a no.
She gave you her answer right there.
It's a no.
It's a no.
But we see them go to a dance lesson, salsa lesson. He was like, have you ever been salsa dancing, done a bachata, anything like that? And she was like, no, not really. And, you know, he was like, this is his goal, just to have fun and to show her that he cares. And, you know, hopes they can get to the point where romance will grow. And, you know, they had a good little time dancing or whatever. And
he was still too far apart.
Jasmine said, this is the Michael she wants to see every day.
And I told you can't get that every day.
And grow with.
I'm sorry, you don't do salsa dancing every day. She wants
it's not the salsa dancing she wants. She just wants more of him. Like,
he's been giving her him.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just telling you what she said.
I know, but she can't see it. He's giving everything. The dude done changed his schedule to walk the dog. The man's trying to help you drive. He's brought romantic dinner breakfast for you. He did the month anniversary thing. He did the tantric yoga. He's done everything to get closer to you. He's been holding your hand. He's been doing all that. I'm sorry. Maybe it's editing. Maybe it's camera. Maybe I'm missing something. What has she done
for him lately? Nothing.
Nothing. She's done nothing for him. So again,
but I'm not saying she hasn't done anything for him because she don't feel that way about him. But she should try something. I don't disagree, but that's why she hasn't done it, because she don't feel that way. This man working hard for the money
and ain't getting nothing.
Anyway,
and she breaks. All she can do is break his heart, because when she told him, "I still don't feel nothing for you," it broke. I could hear his heart stop. It was like a clock.
You could see it. He was like,
right then and there, he knew his answer and he knew her answer, and it's done. I said, "Well, bruh, hold on for a minute, because your DM's gonna open up real quick."
He's still ham's ugly, but he said before he had no idea what type of husband, you know, he would be. He said, you know, what he would have changed is he would have not come in with, I want to be like this, I want to be like that. I would have listened more first to see what she needs.
Yeah.
You know, I would have communicated more. You know, I feel like I wasted time being in my head, but I've learned more about myself, and I thank you for that. And, you know, she kind of got like, you know, misty, and she was like, you know, thank you for saying that. And she was like, you know, I feel like, you know, I've been too vocal at times and raw about my feelings at times. And the one thing that I told my husband, watching it again, I was like, I'm mad, because he basically apologized for coming in with a preconceived notion of an idea what I want to do, without determining, okay, now with this person, what does this look like? And she didn't say nothing like, you know what, I had preconceived notions too. She didn't say none of that.
She said nothing. She gives him nothing. Again, if it's editing, y'all let me know, but she gives him nothing. Or we don't see anything. She sits there, mums a word, and he is pouring his heart. He's trying. Man, he has did everything she's asked him to do. Don't talk to me like that. He done changed his conversation. Don't deal. The way he handles her is more loving and secure. Again, there's no aggression there. And I know they're better as friends, but there gotta be some romance. And I blame him as well, because as I said it on our panel on Sunday, which you wasn't there. Y'all gotta check out the panel, because I was wide open.
Can't leave for not a minute and jokers act up.
Right. So she could have went in. You know, he could come out the shower with a towel on. Can you put lotion on my back? Or can you put lotion on my legs? Or
well, they did that with the comb my beard.
But any type of thing, comb my beard is different from when you rubbing on his chest. Maybe, right? Or him rubbing on her, you know, hey, you want me to help you put lotion on today? You know, by the way, Jasmine, you missing a spot. Or let me rub your back, and then you start rubbing the booty. All kind of stuff.
What is it with you and this rubbing this booty? You just want to say this every episode
but
now.
It's rubbing her back.
But you just want to say rub booty.
Because I like your booty. That's what you want me to say, Cam? I like your booty. All right, we good. Let's keep going.
I don't think I want to finish no more. You can talk.
But no, it's not uncalled for. But when in the process, it's layers of things. He starts massaging it and moves on. Again, it's things that he could be doing, things that she could be doing to spark the romance, but she's not doing anything. He is. And then she's not catching any hints. And then a little bit he's scared because she did call him aggressive. But I think they're past that now, because it's just there's no romance.
They're past it, but I think that's what made her stall, and that's why she can't can't nobody tell me the reason why she has not gotten to the point where she feel like she can develop romantic feelings is she's still stuck on the I didn't like how he talked to me. It's hard to move from that I didn't like how he talked to me, and then to feel like I can make myself like him. She's still stuck there. But anyway, he says, you know, he has romantic feelings, and there's no question why they were matched because of all they've been through. You know, he said the feelings are not as intense as he would like it to be, but he does have some. You know, it's like, how do you feel? She was like, you know, all that we've been doing has been making us better. You know, she's not getting the romantic feelings yet, and she's in a place where she loves them and how they get along, but she's not sure if she's looking at this as just a friendship or more than that.
She knows the answer. She don't like to.
This just came to my mind. I need to redo Mika and Michael, but with this Michael. But does she have somebody?
I don't know.
Is she have a boyfriend?
Maybe 2 different cities.
I know Jasmine does. I know it's 2 different cities, but I know Jasmine got a replacement for Will. But I was just thinking about that. Can we get a real Mika and Michael? Because this Michael could actually take her to see the dolphin.
Yeah, this Michael ain't got no lie. He ain't lying about his job.
At all.
At
all. Because the muscles is bulging. She's obviously a personal trainer. But anyway, she packs her bag to leave, and on the last day, you know, he was like, it seems like D-Day came fast. You know, they need time apart. You know, he's like, you know, she's like, what are you going to do? He said, you know, I'm going to get some sleep, do some reflecting, and, you know, figure out my decision. She said, I'm going to pretty much do the same thing. You know, he was like, you seem real calm and mellow. And she was like, I'm actually anxious. It's just probably not showing. I'll get anxious maybe closer to time. But, you know, he said he's very nervous about what happened. Again, you will not set me up. You wouldn't set me up. Sorry.
No. I want to go to Mark and Lindsay.
Not.
You saving them for last?
No, I'm saying you ain't gonna set me up. I'm still there.
Oh no, you know, so no, let's go to Mark.
Still there.
Let's go to Mark. Man, let's go to Mark and Lindsay.
All right. Well, first of all, she's like thinking in advance. Okay, so what if we decide to stay together? You know, and we're both older. You know, we want to have kids, whatever. So, just in case, let's do this home fertility test.
What?
Now I saw him doing something. I didn't see her. But they had to check his semen, which was hilarious.
Why are you checking his semen and not her eggs?
That's what I was like.
Most likely his semen is going to be good. Your eggs are going to be the one that have a problem.
Maybe.
9 times out of 10.
They probably talked about this because he said something that contributed. Remember, she's a nurse, so he probably mentioned what we about to say. He talked about to her, and she was like, But anyway, you know, they want to do a fertility test to check his sperm count. She says, you know, it'd be useful for me to know before decision day. And, you know, I see how you care for your cats. And, you know, I feel like, you know, that would be you'd be a good father. You'd be take real good care of your kids. And so she's like, okay, so we need to get a sample. Funny.
He goes into the room and talks about, let me get a video. Let me watch a video.
I don't know how I'm going to do this.
I don't know how I'm going to do this. Let me watch a video. And I'm sitting here like, bruh, you have a whole woman here.
She said it too. Like, why you need a video?
Why you need a video? You have a whole woman here. Dog, you ain't got to put your hands on yourself. You have a whole woman who is willing, able, and ready to help you out with this. To help you out.
So anyway, don't
know how he got the sample. I'm gonna just leave it alone like that. We don't know how he
Eventually, they get the sample, and she is hilarious about it. She was like, "It's thick, it's thick like Elmer's glue."
My husband dehydrated.
He's dehydrated. It's showing in his sample, in this little sample. You know, the cup you take out mayonnaise and mustard from and ketchup from a restaurant. We got put in this cup. But she was like, it's thick like Elmer's glue.
She loved embarrassing this dude, man. Yo, after this, if they don't stay together, Mark can't be with any other woman. She already told you that, they already said you're a selfish lover. I already said that you don't like doing other things in bed. And now it talks about how you have some thick semen. Yo, it's like...
But he didn't help none, because he was like, you know, I am kind of nervous while I'm waiting on this test. You know, do I have...
Oh, they help me out. They help me out. I don't like how production put a few minutes later.
Of course they did.
I don't...
To get the sample?
Yes. They could have left it alone. They didn't have to put that. They try to be funny. They put a few minutes later. Big letters. Black screen. Leave Mark alone. They're not helping Mark.
Anyway, so, you know, he was like,
Mark.
you know, I am kind of nervous now that I think about it while I take it for the test. He said, because I did take some stuff in my 20s to help build up muscles and you know, get me big or whatever.
Mark was on the roids. I'm going to call it. Mark was on steroids. Mark took steroids to get big, and he's concerned about his semen. Sorry, that was when you, like, how old is Mark now? 30, late 30s? Like 16? Nah, Mark, you fine. Bruh, you good. All right? It was just, you did a couple times, you're good.
I was like, okay. He was like, well, now that I think about it, that thing was funny. But
I can't believe
I don't know. But
the guy that don't want to try
the little
I want a steroid thing. The guy who don't want to try tacos, don't want to try sushi, but I'll try steroids.
Cause I want to get big. What is tacos and sushi doing to help build my muscle?
But you don't like trying new things. But you'll try that.
What is it doing to help build my muscle? That's what he thought. But anyway, so they did a little test, like a pregnancy test. You looking for lines. It was kind of faint. She was like, wait the whole 7 minutes. You'll see. So they get 2 lines, and it means he's good based on the home test.
I still want to see where her test at.
It's no way that you...
Why are we talking about babies?
You can't test... You can't...
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But why are we talking about babies and then...
Because she said, I have to know for decision day, because decision day means I'm going to stay married to you, and so this is what goes on with being married. So I want to know, before I go into it, is a family going to be the plan, or he ain't got nothing to...
He's shooting blanks.
But anyway, so we see Mark meet with his friend John, and we've seen John a few times.
Yeah.
That's who he was out there tossing the baseball with
Mm-hmm.
that time. And so Mark expresses he's not 100% on his decision day decision. John's like, how's it going? Mark says, you know, it's been going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's been this last week in particular, it's been heavy. He talked about his mom has really been going through with her health, and Lindsay's been such a great help trying to find some place for her to go, because she needs to go to like an assisted living place where she can get all the help that she needs. And we see her video of her making phone calls, talking to the mom, and you know, making arrangements. And he was like, you know, she helped me clean up the house, and you know, they got all this stuff bagged up. It almost seems like the mom might have been a little bit of a hoarder.
A little bit.
And yeah, I say a little bit, because considering the bags they had in the corner, you know, the hoarders, they be in there. You talking about hazmat suits for them bed bugs? It be trash all over the floor.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, it turns my stomach. But anyway, you know, so he was like, you know, she's been so supportive with everything with JC, and when it's like that, it makes me feel like I could say yes. But you know, it's like when we have disagreements, I'm like, it's like half and half. If we had more good times than we had disagreements, I would feel better about my decision. But I don't know. John said to him, well, maybe when the cameras leave and everything settles down, you don't have to worry about that part with shooting. You know, maybe it'll be better. You know, just like the most recent times that y'all been having. And the one thing that Mark said is, with us filming and being on this, you know, normally when you're in a relationship, even when you're married, you always constantly with this person. You have some time away. Yeah. So he says, I haven't had any time away from her to see if I miss her.
He needs some time away.
To see if I miss her, and like, oh, I don't want her not to be there. So that's the one thing.
But he needs time away. He needs to get away from her. He needs that space. She is kind of hovering since we found out that she works at home. He doesn't have no job. So she's always with him, and so she's always nagging and heckling and Mark this, that. It gets old sometimes, bro. Like, what he just said was, I need to escape. I need a minute. So
yeah. We see Lindsay meet up with her friend Kara, who she said when she first met her, she was her work wife. And we're not going to talk about the drink.
I'm done.
So anyway, how's it been going, Lindsay? She says been up and down. You know, the thing about Marcus, he's super rigid. He doesn't do well with change. Have you ever dated an only child? She was like, no. Lindsay was like, me neither, but do not recommend. Mm-hmm. He's an only child, so, you know, he's real stuck in his ways, like to get his way or whatever. She asked Kara, well, what do you think about him? She says, you know, when I saw him at the wedding, he seems like he's a lot of fun. He did a lot of smiling. But he did look like he could be bland. Mm-hmm. A lot like white bread. And Lindsay was like, yeah, he's like 1 minute away from Velcro shoe. From Velcro sneaker. But the one thing Kara said was, he does seem kind of plain and bland. But, I mean, that does mean stability. You know, that means, you know...
it means that he's safe. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's safe.
There's something reliable about it is what she said.
Yeah, but let's be, we all honest, that's what Lindsay needs. She doesn't need somebody who's just as fiery as she is. Mm-mm. It's not going to work well. She needs somebody to kind of balance her out. Because if they both hot heads, they both fiery, it's not going to end well. Because she ain't going to back down, and the person that she might have been with is not going to back down either, and it's not going to end well. She needs somebody to be like, not that necessarily Mark's a punk, but he doesn't like confrontation, so he's going to ease it. Woosah.
And speaking of which, she said, you know, he's a big softy. He is on the sensitive one, you know, but somebody got to be there. We can't both be, like you said, on fire. We can't all be sensitive. But I think it's funny that she would call him the sensitive one because she be getting in her feelings. We called her hyper and other stuff. So it's like, you're softy too. You just got a hard exterior. And Mark is just soft through and through.
Yeah. Again, Mark doesn't like confrontation.
So she said she feels deeply that Mark is in a time of process. She talks to Kara about, you know, he's been going through a lot in his life, and you know, he's just not as She was like, I can't tell if he's just not as adaptable or is he overwhelmed, because he does seem like, and have said, I'm the type that likes to go piece by piece, you know. And she actually says, you know, I don't have any sparks of butterflies with him though. Mm-hmm. So in the end, my decisions, you know, have to outweigh. Does the good outweigh the cons? You know, can I be patient and give him a chance to get better, so we can get to a place? And Kara tells her, you know, go with your heart, but don't get in your head too much. Yeah. Because we know how you can do. And she said, why don't you make a list and work on the intangibles? And Lizzie was like, I don't know if that's gonna work out for his benefit, but okay.
It ain't gonna work out for his good, bro. If I start making this list, then bad boys start getting real long. Mark, you got to go, brother.
Yeah.
Shark.
The last couple of things we see with Mark and Lindsay, he has a nice dinner set up where he takes her somewhere. We learned this with Lindsay before. He's not letting her know where they're going. She keeps trying to find out. Give me your phone. She's trying to see the GPS.
She's sporadic, yo. She hates surprises.
And he was like, just wait. Yeah, she said, I hate surprises, which that's why I get married at first sight. Just really messed me up. So why did you do it then? But anyway, so they end up at his mom's apartment, which me and my husband point out. So it's a lot of apartments in Boston. It's just half a house.
Yeah.
It's not like an apartment. It's, you got the first floor, I got the second floor.
Yeah, you got the house. Because that house, I mean...
it was absolutely a house.
Absolutely a house. The kitchen, and it was...
Yeah, it was a house. But, you know, and he says, she said, you got to feed me. He was like, I'm going to feed you. Mm-hmm. But when they get there, he's got candlelight dinner set up. And he actually has sushi.
Yes.
Which she had introduced him
to. Not the dog.
They sit down and eat sushi. So I was like, okay, Mark found something else that he can eat and that he likes, because he actually picked it. I was like, oh wow, and he was eating it.
He was thoughtful.
Yeah. You know, they acknowledged that she pushed him into new things, and he expressed his appreciation for that. You know, and he talks about, you know, if we decide to stay married, you know, we come live in my mom and grandma's apartment, whatever. She looks and she says, well, do this for me. Give me one weekend and a $500 budget. And then she starts running down this list of everything she's going to do. And my husband was like, she ain't going to get all that done with $500.
No.
She ain't going to do it.
Unless you hire a whole bunch of people that, no, she's not going to do that.
Yeah.
And again, I understand the coat of paint. I understand some changes. But she wanted to do, what's that show, Overhaul? We used to watch, like, the guy used to leave for 2 days and come back, the whole house has changed.
She want to do some Good Bones. One of them, them HGTV
TV
shows. She want to do that.
Some demolition. She wanted to change my whole house.
Yeah, because she said, I want to create a space for them. And his thing was, with it all cleaned up and nice and neat, it feels more of a home than it ever did before.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I wouldn't want to get all new stuff because I do want, a piece of my mom and my grandma still here. And she's like, but you can't live in the past. If this is where we're going to be, we need to be a space for us. And that's the conversation we had. It's like, yes, you want to create a space for y'all, but you got to compromise. Bring in pieces like they talk about this dresser. She was like, it doesn't fit my style. But for him, that dresser represents his mother and his grandma. So find some place to put it.
Yeah.
If it's in a spare bedroom, find some place to put it so he can keep it. So you make a space that's y'all's, but you can incorporate things from his family. You got to find a happy medium. She was just talking about, like, scrap it all, throw it all away.
She wanted to get rid of all his stuff.
Yeah. Just like she did when they went and cleaned up from the bed.
Right, you can't do that. But I understand her premise, though, because you want something that's ours. But right now, y'all can't do ours where it costs a lot of money. He doesn't have a job, per se.
But you can't do ours because, again, we know that he's not as adaptable. He doesn't do well with change. So you're going to have to gradually
transition. It has to be a gradual transition but I don't like Mark's terminology that he said. He like, my grandma, me, and you. Nah, that's not how it works, bro. When you get married, you leave your wife, you leave your family, and you cleave to your wife. So now, not that you negating your family, and they're a big part of your life. Trust me, your grandma and your mom, a big part of your life. You've been taking care of them and all that. No one asking you to get rid of them, but she's just asking, let this space be ours. Because at the end of the day, we share your grandma, we take care of your mom, we're looking over them. Can we just have a space where it's just us, where it's not them included? And I understand that from her point. Mm-hmm. Not the way that she went about it. You can't just rip the Band-Aid off. Sometimes you have to peel it off easily, and that's what she has to do for Mark. Peel the Band-Aid off easily for him.
But that's what I was going to say. To me, Mark understood that. Lindsay didn't. Like, he was willing to combine.
Right.
She didn't come across like that. But anyway, so we see them, this is their last night together, and then she's got mixed feelings. She talks about how she loves the cat, Rocky. I might love Rocky more than you because Rocky gives me what I give Rocky. Rocky loves on me. I love on Rocky. Rocky loves on me back. Ha ha he he.
She wouldn't ha ha he he. It was the truth.
No, but I know. I'm talking about for Mark. Like ha ha yeah okay. For her decision comes down to like, okay, so when she's thinking about Mark, it was a lot of affection at first. It's like, where's the affection at now? Mm-hmm. And can I figure out if I can be patient for you to get back to that space? And he says, from him, he feels like he's figured her more out now than before.
Yeah.
So that's where they are.
When you're doing 8 weeks with Crazy, you have to figure it out. If you want to be with her, you got to figure. I ain't call. Let me start. I apologize. I call that girl Crazy. 8 weeks with somebody who has high tendencies or really hyperactive. Mm-hmm. You got to figure that out. So. All
right. Last but not least, we got Noy and Steve. Mm-hmm. So I want to start with Steve meeting with his friend.
Yeah, let's start there because I want to talk about that. Let's start.
Was it Paria?
I don't know.
I think that's how it was. Because she's coming over to help him ring shop for Noy. Mm-hmm. Because, he's like, basically, they had rings from the show. But he wants to give her something from his heart that shows how much he cares. And Paria's like, man, that's big, because it shows when you give jewelry or give gifts even, but especially jewelry, it's it really sends a message of how you feel and, how you're communicating that to her, that I value you because I'm getting this for you. I put thought into it because they're on a website picking the band and picking the cut of the diamond, the color of the diamond, the size of the diamond, and all of that stuff. And, because I want to show her how I really feel and how I appreciate how she's shown up in this marriage or whatever. And, you know, Paria's like, you know, this is an investment. And my husband checked the website out, first of all. Second of all, I already knew if you doing this, so it ain't gonna be no cheap ring.
It ain't cheap.
So again, I'm also letting you know I do have some money.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I can spend this on this ring and it didn't break me, I still got some more money.
It didn't break you.
I still got some more money. So, considering Steve is doing this, you go to Noy's conversation with her friend Supri.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the one thing they say is, you know, they haven't seen each other in a while. I'm used to seeing you all the time, but since I've been doing this married at first sight thing, you know, being married, I've been having to put my time in that and not this. So, you know, I miss seeing you. But, you know, how's it been going? You know, some weeks have gone good, but she said some weeks I'm like, you know. And Supri's like, oh, yeah, because I know y'all had this conversation about y'all splitting up tasks. You know, how's that been? And, you know, how do you feel about his job plan? Do you feel more secure about that? And Supri's like, I mean, why won't he just get a job? The man, what she don't know is he's spending $5,000 to $10,000.
Correct.
On a ring for you.
Ring for you.
Why don't I just get a job? I have money. I can make money. Why don't I just get a job? This is what her friend said. But anyway, Noy says, you know, he seems to be the type to just focus on one thing at a time. So it's like he's focusing on the marriage now. But Noy's like, but I'm a hustler, you know. Why can't he be a hustler? I do, you know, I work hard. I'm doing this, balancing that. Why can't you work on a marriage and you get a job?
You get a job. That's what she said, though. She's like, why can't you work on a marriage? And you go, like, she did allude to that she's seen him work on some things.
Mm-hmm.
That she's seen him putting some things into place. Or managing some things. And Steve is not really, he said when they was at dinner, and jump ahead a little bit, he's like, do you even know what a sales engineer does? Do you know what I do? You know what I've done for the last 4 years? Basically, do you know how much money I made in the last 4 years?
Basically.
What are you saying? Do you know what I did and how much I made and what time and investment I put in? I needed a break.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is my break season. And to do that, I was listening to somebody's podcast the other day, and they were like, well, I have enough in my savings or enough in my emergency fund of savings that I don't have to do anything for a whole year. And everything will be maintained. My lifestyle will be good. Everything is great, taken care of. And I may do that when I get married. That I might just take a year off to spend with my wife. Is that something wrong?
No, it's not nothing wrong with it. But again, okay, if you have enough to live for a year and pay your bills, okay, so at the end of that, like, how are you going to replace what you spent?
And say what that you made it. But it doesn't mean just because I use my savings to maintain doesn't mean I stop making income. Doesn't mean I stop making money. But
I'm saying, we've talked about this before. That's where Noy is. Okay, yeah. So you have money in savings, but once you start tapping into that, how do you replace what you've used? Because
with the business you have is called residual income. You're constantly making it over again. You may use your...
You're not explaining nothing to me. I'm telling you where Noy is stuck at.
Yeah, my bad. You're not Noy, sorry.
But... Right, and so, but Supri made a point. She was like, you know, the stakes are high in this for someone that you only know for 2 months. Mm-hmm. And that's her thing you're trying to understand. Because, again, we talked about this before. You're doing this to come to decision day. And me knowing that you can bring income in, you know, and that we can do this together, which is what Noy says is, you know, that goes into play. So I have to know that this will happen for me to say yes. And so what are you doing to reassure me? Yes, I know you have savings. Yes, I know you got money. But where is the replacement word? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was their thing that they talk about. But we see Noy and Steve go out to dinner. They talk about being ready for marriage. Steve says, you know, I've been ready for marriage for 2 or 3 years. And she was like, how's that? And he was like, because, you know, once I spent more time with my family and getting into that, it made me realize I want a family. I want this, what my siblings have, what my parents have had. I want this for myself.
Right.
And that was the driving force for him, you know, wanting to be married. And you know, they talked about, well, living separately digressed their marriage. And he was like, you know, I'm not sure. But he's still leery. You know, you said when he talked about it, she says, well, I don't know if it would change much on our bond and the love that we have. And he was like, but it could, though. Mm-hmm. It could go either way. It could affect him. It could not. It's no telling. I feel like you should just start on an even playing field. Why go out and live on your own? Like, why take that chance? Because being together, we definitely going to build our bond and our love.
Yeah.
Unless something happens. I don't want to take a chance that we may or may not be able to do that when we live separately.
And again, you want to build a family, and then it comes a trust issue too, because I don't know what you're doing when we're not together. There may be somebody else at your 9 to 5 who may like you. Mm. There may be somebody else at 9 to 5 that's attracted to you, and you're spending more time with them than you are me. And now we have, because you look what you're doing. You're going from spending time with each other every day to spending time with each other part of the day. That doesn't work.
Or maybe not all day.
Or not even all day. It doesn't work. And so that's the issue that I'm having with this whole situation with them. It's like, it may not work.
Yeah. You know, she says again, she's not completely comfortable with living together yet. And he says, you got to keep this in mind. At decision day, we don't have to have a perfect marriage. But we do have to have enough that we feel like we can. And, you know, she says, I still got questions for her about your work. And he was like, but you've talked to me. You've talked to people I know, people I work with. My track record doesn't say enough. That doesn't help. And she was like, I mean, you know, I talked to them, but I need to see action too. And he was like, I'm a sales engineer. Do you know what that means? It wasn't like I just went down the street and got a job. I put effort into, you know, that career path and doing it. I did it for 4 years. It takes a lot of effort. And you don't see that. And it's like, you know, you say you're working on things, but how does it, I've heard you say that. You said you're working on things, but how does that translate to money? Like, I'm not understanding how. So that's why I said he needs to show her, okay, so I'm working on this. So if I sold this app for this before, if I can develop another app, I have the potential to make this. You know, it's got to be all like that. Like, she's just not seeing it. And
she's not going to see it because, again, when you don't come from that lifestyle and you don't come from that hustle, or you don't, she's a hustler, but when you don't come from that lifestyle or you don't come from that grind, you're not going to see it. And that's where she's at. She won't be able to see the fact until the income start coming in. Now, because he hadn't had the income come in, it may be an issue. You know what I'm saying? Because she needs to see that.
Yeah, because it's a security thing with her. She's like, I need security, and, you know, I need to know my spouse can contribute. And she says, you know, I can't know what I don't know. Mm-hmm. And he says, well, you have to trust. You have to trust somewhere. You have to put trust somewhere.
You gotta trust the process. So, and she doesn't understand the process that it goes through, or what it takes for him to do the job that he does. Mm-hmm. And it may be, again, you talked about this, and we've talked about this on several shows, that the ebb and flows, where it's up and down, and that ups and down is what makes people feel insecure when it comes to people who have an entrepreneurial lifestyle. Mm-hmm. When people have an entrepreneurial lifestyle, when they have a lifestyle where sometimes I bring in $30,000 in a month. Well, next month I only bring in $5,000. Or then a month after that I don't bring in anything. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you do? Where is the status at? How does it help? How do you maneuver? How do you handle that? Can we, not even that, makes you have to budget too and live on a certain lifestyle, because it's called irregular income. Mm-hmm. So how do we handle that situation?
Yeah. For Steve going into decision day, you know, he's worried that she may have held some of her feelings back. Like, we talked about some things, but the way she's built, and she explained that, mm-hmm. that, you know, we've talked about some things, but she's held back some other feelings, and that might affect the decision. You know, when I'm sitting there talking in the bed, you know, about decision day, you know, was there anything you would change? He said, yeah, I probably would have got a job. They both laughed. And he says, and, you know, I probably would have eaten the pasta. You know, Steve is funny. Dry humor. Love it.
Oh, yeah, I definitely love it, because he brings it, again, he can laugh at their situation. He can laugh at the circumstances. She laughed a little bit, too.
She said it, too. She said it's funny now, but at the time it wasn't.
Yeah.
But, you know, they need to come to an understanding to treat each other equally is what he would change. and you know, that she bucks when he asks her about doing things. You know, that's something that's a drawback for him. And she says, you know, it's concerned that he's probably still been counting things. If I do this, then you do. Like, it has to be 50-50. Which made me laugh, too. You know, when it comes to home task or whatever, you're upset because he wants to do it 50-50. But technically, that's what you're asking with the job thing. I want that to be 50-50.
Yeah.
I want that to be 50-50. You know what I'm saying? If I work, you got to work, too.
Yeah, if I work, you work.
If I make this, you gotta break. So, I think it's funny that she would be hung up on that he wants stuff in the house to be 50-50. But you want stuff 50-50 too.
Well, again, I don't like the living situation. I'm sorry. I just don't like them. I don't like them not living together.
I don't either.
It's not good to me.
I don't
think it's, to me, it's not a good thing. I don't think their marriage will last if those two live apart. Because she's already wishy-washy.
Yeah.
She's already shaky. So, if they don't live together, it's going to be a big issue.
Yeah. So the only other thing with them, we see the couples flag football game. Yeah. Some of the spouses pick their spouse right away. Another spouse picked their spouse but didn't pick them to be on their team immediately.
I know what
y'all can put in the comments about it. I'm not going nowhere with it. I'm just saying. Some of them was like, you got to pick your spouse first. Some people was like, you just got to pick your spouse, period. But then Jasmine was like, I feel like I'm on the playground, elementary school. I got picked last for the game, but Olajuwon didn't even pick his wife first. You know, she made that point.
Do you have to pick your wife first, though?
It depends on who your wife is. It depends on who. If you know, if I don't pick my wife first, it's gonna be some shiznit, then I'm picking my wife first. If you know my wife is the type that she won't be offended because she knows I want the best players on my team, then don't pick your wife first. Pick her eventually because she understands, I know my husband's competitive. He wants to win. So he's going to pick the big baller shot callers first. And then he's going to pick me. Or even if he don't pick me, you know what? I'm going to be on the other team and I'm going to beat their tail. If that's how your wife is, don't pick your wife first. But if your wife is the type, I know he ain't got me sitting here waiting while he pick your wife first. If your wife is the type to give you an earful when you get in the car, pick your wife first. If your wife is the type that tonight, because you didn't pick her first, that means you don't get no trim, pick your wife first.
Y'all, leave a comment in the comment section below. In a competition and competitive game, do you pick your spouse first if she's not going to contribute to you winning?
No, don't even put that on there. Do you pick your wife first?
If y'all want to know my answer, I'm not telling you right now.
No, you can tell them.
Depends on the competition. I want to win. In spades, I'll pick my wife. Singing competition, I'll pick my wife. Kickball, I'll pick my wife. In flag football like they played, I'm not 100%.
Why would you not pick your wife?
I'm not 100%.
I play football now. Don't do that.
I don't know.
It ain't for money. It's not the NFL. So I don't need to know the plays to play.
Not that I wouldn't pick you. You just probably wouldn't be the first pick.
That's not what you said. You said, would I pick my wife?
No, I'll pick you. You wouldn't be my first pick. The problem was, because Olajuwon eventually picked Katina. She just wasn't the first pick. I have no problem picking you.
I'm trying to figure out what else it is that you would not pick me or pick me first.
It was a swimming competition.
You daggone right. But that makes good sense because I'm not a swimmer.
Well, other than that, I got you, boo. We're on the same team. We ride or die. We win. We win together. There had never been a chance where I haven't picked you. There's never been anything that we haven't done.
Because we always play spades. Of course you're going to pick me because we play spades the most.
When we do different events and different things, volleyball, whatever, you're always on my team.
No, not necessarily.
For the most part. Laser tag and all that.
Not necessarily. But anyway. But it depends on your spouse.
It depends on your spouse.
And what you feel like you can tolerate or deal with. Yeah. My husband know I'm not going to give him a whole lot of lip. Now, if you don't pick me in my team, I'm going to run up there, you should have picked me.
Oh, yeah.
I am going to do that.
If it backfires, she can talk trash.
Oh, I am going to do that. But anyway, So we just talk about
should
that.
the spouse pick the husband first? The wife pick the husband first.
I'm gonna pick you first.
Oh, okay. I always choose.
Cause I want to win. I'm gonna pick you first.
I always choose you.
But if it's a singing competition, I'm not picking you first.
Oh heck no! I wouldn't select myself if it was a singing. If it was a singing competition, I'm not selecting myself. I ain't even mad if y'all picked me last.
Or at all.
At all. I sat on the bench.
Anyway, so they just talk about their decision days. What's gonna be like. Mark was like, I feel positive about decision day. Lindsay jokes and says, I'll let you know. Katina says, I feel fine about it too. Michael says he feels good. If we can stay on the same page where we are now about what it is that we need to focus on, we should be good. She was like, if it doesn't lead to divorce, anything can happen. And in the end, like I said, Mark catches a cramp. They try to make it like he broke something or tore something.
Like he tore his whole knee up.
He had a Charlie horse.
Charlie horse.
He had a cramp.
Dehydrated with gooseberry.
Need some mustard.
He needs some mustard, some Gatorade or something.
Steve jokes about it was, it's a big consideration. It was one other thing I had to find out, and that was because she played football. I found that out today. Ha ha ha. Steve got mad jokes this episode. I like Steve too. Little dry humor. But in the end, Katina was like, good advice. Try not to let these last few days stress you out. Mm-hmm. Go through your emotions. Feel what you're going to feel at the end. Go through your emotions, but don't be bitter. And Michael's advice was, in the end, let's respect each other's decisions. And hopefully we can still be cordial after this and not end on a sour note. That's what we should do. And Olajuwon's thing was, because no matter what the decision, you don't know what the decision can hold. You never know.
You never know. So all in all, good show. All in all, decent show. Mad at the fact that next week we have a special instead of going straight to decision day. I need decision day. Y'all keep dragging this. They dragging this thing out. I need. So I'm not since they're doing a decision day special, I'm not giving y'all my decision until next week. If you watch all our reviews, you probably know my decision anyway. my decision anyway, what's gonna happen. But nonetheless, hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below. We're gonna answer. We try to get to all the comments and at least give you a response, thumbs up, or whatever the case may be. But leave a comment in the comment section below. And hey, continue to support us here on YouTube.
Appreciate y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.